There was a lot of excitement when Haas announced their entry into Formula One back in 2016, with an American team potentially making F1 more popular in the country. But their performance since then has been anything but exciting. Let's take a deeper dive into Haas's performance over the years, specifically this one, and see if this is really the worst F1 team that exists right now. Their performance in 2016. 2016 was the first year that we saw Haas enter a Formula One tournament, and there were already concerns about Haas's relationship with Ferrari coming into play and giving them an unfair advantage. French driver Romain Grosjean and Mexican driver Esteban Gutierrez were chosen to represent Haas during the season, and the first race that year officially took place in Australia on March 20th. At the Australian Grand Prix, Romain ended up having a decent showing, coming in at 6th place. Esteban, on the other hand, retired from the match, earning no points. At the next race in Bahrain, Esteban retired once again, while Romain ended up improving his performance and coming in at 5th place. However, that was as good as it gets for Romain and the Haas team in general. The following race at the Chinese Grand Prix saw both men earn no points, coming in at 19th place for Romain and 14th place for Esteban. This was, however, the first time Esteban actually had a greater placement than Romain. Romain placed within the top 10 during the Russian, Austrian, and American Grand Prix after that, while Esteban wouldn't make the top 10 even once during that season. The season would end with 29 points, placing them in 8th place for the championship. They actually ended up improving in 2017. Before the beginning of the 2017 season, Haas announced they were dropping Esteban Gutierrez and retaining Romain Grosjean. Esteban would be replaced by Danish driver Kevin Magnussen. The first race of the season didn't go too well at the Australian Grand Prix, where both men retired from the race. At the following race in Shanghai, Romain finished at 11th place, earning no points for the race, but Kevin had a decent showing at 8th place, which ultimately netted him 4 points. At the third race in Bahrain, the team gained 4 more points, with Romain coming in at 8th place and Kevin retiring. The Russian Grand Prix didn't go as well as the previous 2 races, with neither driver earning any points. But for the following 3 races, Romain ended up finishing in the top 10, while they both finished within the top 10 during the Monaco Grand Prix. Kevin improved his performance at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, coming in at 7th place, while Romain placed 13th. The next race was the Austrian Grand Prix, which saw Haas's best performance to date, with Romain coming in at 6th place, earning the team 8 points. For the remaining races of the season, Romain ended up finishing within the top 10 in 3 races, while Kevin finished within the top 10 in 2 more races. It was a much more balanced performance, and Haas finished the season with 47 points, although they didn't improve their position at all, remaining in 8th place. They hit their peak in 2018. 2018 was probably the greatest year for the Haas Formula One team. Both of the players were retained by Haas owing to their performance in the year before, and things were looking bright. Once again, they ended up retiring during the first race at the Australian Grand Prix. But in the following race at Bahrain, Kevin Magnussen ended up finishing in 5th place, the highest placement that any member of the Haas team had gotten until now, earning Haas 10 points. In China, Kevin once again secured a point by coming in at 10th, while Romain didn't earn any points for the team. In the following 2 races, Romain ended up retiring both races, but Kevin performed well at the Spanish Grand Prix, coming in at 6th place and earning 8 more points. Monaco and Canada didn't net them any points, but Kevin once again came in at 6th place at the French Grand Prix, earning 8 points for Haas. The next race was the Austrian Grand Prix, and it was their best collective performance ever. Romain finished in 4th, while Kevin finished in 5th, earning 18 points in total and bringing Haas to the top 5 of the championship standings. Romain finished within the top 10 in 6 more races after that, while Kevin also finished within the top 10 in 6 more races. It was the team's best ever performance. Haas ended up finishing the season with 93 points and 5th place. Not bad for a team that was only a few years old. It was all downhill since then. While you could say that the Haas team improved year after year, and they would only improve during the 2019 season, right? Well, it didn't go that well. While the team was retained, their performance wasn't nearly as good as in previous years. Roman only finished within the top 10 of 3 races throughout the season, which had 21 races in total. Kevin performed slightly better, finishing within the top 10 of 4 races. Their best performance was in the very first race of the season at the Australian Grand Prix, where Kevin came in at 6th. Overall, the team only got 28 points throughout the year, the lowest they've ever gotten, finishing in 9th. 2020 and Roman's crash. For the 2020 season, which was set to be the shortest F1 season ever, Haas retained both Roman and Kevin, hoping they'd have a better showing than last year. Unfortunately for them, the performance was just as bad, if not worse. For the first 10 races, the team collectively earned just 1 point when Kevin finished the Chinese Grand Prix in 10th place. During the Eiffel Grand Prix, Roman finished in 9th place, earning 2 more points. Those 2 points would be the last points that Haas, as a team overall, would ever earn. Disaster struck at the 2020 Bahrain Grand Prix during the first lap when Roman ended up clipping Daniil Kvyat's AlphaTauri AT01 on the 3rd turn, causing him to ricochet into the crash barrier at 192 kilometers an hour. His vehicle split in half due to the impact and immediately caught fire. Roman could have easily died in the incident had the Halo device not saved him. It was a terrible situation all around, and Roman suffered serious injuries. The race was suspended for 80 minutes, and Roman received a standing applause as he made his way out of the vehicle before making his way to the hospital. Roman ended up being replaced by Brazilian racer Pietro Fittipaldi for the remainder of the season, and his contract with Haas ended after that season. The disaster that was 2021. In 2021, Haas came out with a brand new team, consisting of Russian racer Nikita Mazepin and Danish racer Mick Schumacher. The 2 racers were seen as exciting prospects for the team in general, but their performance was anything but exciting. Throughout the whole season thus far, neither driver for Haas has finished within the top 10 of any of the races. They've barely even managed to crack the top 15 in most of the races. Their performance was so bad that it actually became a running joke among F1 fans. Overall, Haas has not gotten any points in the entire season, and they're ranked at the absolute bottom. Why is Haas so bad? Haas hasn't exactly been a bad team for most of their history. They've just been a very average team. Their strategic alliance with Ferrari allows them to get essentially any car they want within the rules of Formula One. Basically, it was used as a testing ground for Ferrari, and they weren't even referred to as Ferrari's B team. To Ferrari, all they care about is testing out their cars and technology, not placing well. They will never care about a team as much as Scuderia Ferrari. That's why they had no problem letting go of Roman and Kevin after the 2020 season. The model that Haas is based on essentially prevents them from being competitive. Do they have a chance of improving? As far as things go right now, Haas has little chance to improve. Both Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin are very talented racers in their own right, but without having an entire team that cares about them and supports them, perhaps even Lewis Hamilton wouldn't be as successful of a racer as he is today. If Ferrari decides to stop treating Haas as a secondary team and actually treats them like their own team, then Haas could very well improve, or at least reach the level they were at in 2018. The US is a growing market for Formula One, and it now has a higher viewership within the US than ever before. This might lead to Ferrari taking Haas more seriously than they previously did, but many still doubt them. Overall, some changes need to be made, and we'll just have to wait until 2022 to see what the future of Haas might turn out to be. It may end up being better than we thought. That's a wrap for Is Haas the worst F1 team? Do you think that the team can eventually improve? Let us know in the comments below. As always, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one.